Hello. Looks like we're live, or at least that is what YouTube tells me. On this fine Monday, it's a new week, everybody, and I hope you guys are doing well. I'm having a little bit of a weird day today. I don't know, I slept terribly and the rest of the day has just been bad. I haven't really gotten to do much other than lay on the sofa and just being weird. But hopefully that is changing because we got a whole writing session ahead of us. Right. Yesterday, things are heating up. We have, of course, Vespa down in the deep dungeons trying to get the vial of poison that she thinks is going to kill everyone. It might not. So Squire Ronean has... there's no music. Squire Ronean, of course, has... he's confessing. He's basically monologuing, which I'm not sure if I'll keep in there, but it is in there now. But he is telling everyone the plan, or not the plan per se, but everything he did to try and get Vespa killed and out of commission, basically. And if that wasn't enough, there's a fight going on, and he slashed Lemon across the chest. And Lemon is lying on the floor, wings spread out in a pool of his own blood. And Vespa, of course, is desperately trying to do something about that. Let's start here. With the where we read. This is, well, maybe that's a little too much. You know what? It's fine. Get away from him! Vespa shouted before kneeling down to a friend lying on his back with wings spread on the floor. Two low tweets met her shaking hands, one still holding the poison vial. Squire Ronean stifled pain between gritted teeth. I think she hit him. Didn't he? Oh yeah, she jumped down and pushed him. That was what she did. Look what you did, he harshly demanded for Vespa to look at a cut in his right palm as he picked up the knife that he dropped on the floor. I had forgotten how strong such a little doll can be. I said, look at it. Vespa didn't care to look and simply pushed the squire's hand away so that she could have a better look. There's a lot of looks there. Look. Better look at the fallen bird. Lemon, she sniffled. Are you alright? Of course he wasn't, and Vespa was well aware, but she didn't know what else to do. Oh, it looks like it's still moving, Squire Ronean said with a fake concern. He had squatted down to Vespa's level, hands on his knees. I can put it out of its misery right now, if you just hand over the vial. His cruel offer was followed by an outstretched palm towards Vespa. That was the final drop that made Vespa's cup overflow. Suddenly there was no more shock. I don't know, that's supposed to be an H, but I don't know what it looks like. Suddenly there was no more shock, no more pain in her chest and stomach, no more despair and sadness. All of the emotions that had overwhelmed her mere moments before. Only a rush of anger as she pulled back her gauntlet-wearing arm, not even feeling the pain as she moved it so sudden, and with rage in her copper eyes that even she would have been surprised about. There's a comma missing here. That even she would have been surprised about. Punched the squatting squire square in the chest with all her might, and a frenzy-filled scream to follow. That's right, the squatting squire square in the chest. Oh, that's a good one. I think I'm gonna. Oops, whoops. I think I'm going to keep that in there. Definitely. Squire Ronean's face quickly turned from surprise to pain as the fist smashed into him with a deep thunk and rattling of chainmail as he stumbled backwards, hitting the cell door behind with a loud bang. Vespa, now standing, spent a moment or two with rage still filling her eyes, breathing heavily while gazing at the scrambling squire. A low whistle, just like the ones she remembered from their first meet, wheezed from Lemon. Lemon, Vespa's rage evaporated now that her tiny friend required her aid. But as she once again knelt, despair washed over her once more. Lemon's bright wings had started to soak in blood from where the dagger had slashed his chest. Lemon, please. She could hardly get a word across. Don't go, please. Streams of tears arrived. That's it! Squire Ronean was back on his feet, yanking Vespa up from the floor and slamming her small body into the wall, holding her against it. With her tiny legs and feet dangling in the air. Vespa barely had time to let out an oof as she hit the wall before Squire Ronean continued. All anger in his words. I don't know what that's for, all anger in his words. What .jpg? Yeah, I don't know about that one. It's an older meme, sir, but it checks out. Right, onwards. Maybe I should just kill you anyway, right here, right now, he pondered. Make it look like an accident. Actually, it's just right. It's always good to have a little... Whoops. Okay. Thought I messed something up. Always good to have a little meme. 08020. What the hell? What.jpg? Yes. Make it look like an accident. Everything would be so much easier if you weren't around. Oh, and think of the satisfaction. Watching you drown in your own blood right next to your stupid bird. He is watching. He's quite the psycho, I feel like. His smile grew wicked as Vespa squirmed, trying to wrench free from his one arm, pressing her against the wall. Squire Ronean looked at the knife's blade in his other hand. Or maybe I'll just have some fun with you before everything goes down. I think we have the time, and I only need to keep you from dying. The squire slowly moved his knife to Vespa's cheek. Vespa felt a warm drop streaking down as his skin punctured. You don't need your eyes to live, Squire Ronean smiled. Vespa grabbed the blade with a hand and somehow managed to get Squire Ronean to drop it from his hand. Also, this is a no gauntlet wearing hand. So she should probably gauntlet. So she should probably Like he's holding her up against the wall like this, right? And she's squirming. He probably has her gauntlet wearing arm on lock to keep her from hitting him again with it. Then that's why she has to use, because why wouldn't she try to use her gauntlet wearing hand to get the knife out of the way? No gauntlet. Gauntlet hand. Damn it. Gauntlet hand is... gauntlet hand is locked. Yeah, that needs to be explicit. And somehow managed to get Squire Ronean to drop it from his hand, sending it clanking to the stone floor. She almost didn't feel the cut into her palm. Didn't she? Wouldn't it be kind of better if she felt it and it hurt a lot? I think she did. She did. More dramatic. More drama. The Squire let out a groan of frustration. Look what you made. And there we go. We're off. Look what you made me do. Also, what happened to the vial? That was in her non-gauntlet hand. Look what you made me do. How can I work around the fact that the vial should have been dropped to the floor? Or we can maybe add it up here before Squire Ronean continued angering his word. The vial dropped. Dropped, clinking to the floor. Dropped to the floor. Yeah, that's not very elegant, but it is kind of needed. Hey, Flame, welcome to the stream. If you want something to not drop, you'd be putting a lot of concentration on it. Show that concentration. Way ahead of you. I actually needed something to drop, but I didn't know. I sort of forgot to mention it. Not very elegant. Question mark? Squire let out a groan of frustration. Look what you made me do. Stupid doll. Why can't you just for once do as you're asked? Whoops. As you're... That's a U, not a W. You're asked. And keep still. Flashstone says, I don't know about you, but simplicity can convey grandness on its own. You just have to read it right. Oh, is it in the not very elegant? It's not actually the comment here. It's not actually... I didn't mean not very elegant in the way that it's not described, but it's more that I think it works better later in the text. It was just like I kind of forgot that it needs to happen, and the vial needs to lie on the floor, and that was sort of just the only way that I could drop it in there. But yeah. And keep still. That was the line we started on. Still pinning. The small girl to the floor. No, not the floor, to the wall. Oh my god. In case you couldn't tell, my headspace is indeed weird at the moment. Today I am just... yeah. Hopefully I get some better sleep tonight than I did last night. I think that was the problem. Still pinning the small girl to the floor. He slowly squatted down. To reach his weapon. Discombobulated, says Flays Flame. I'm gonna need more than that word. I'm not actually sure what the word means. Discombobulated. I've heard it before. Read it before. Discombobulated. Oh no! Ah, sugar. My my subscription to my dictionary has run out. Okay, that was not what I thought it meant, but alright. Guess we'll use Google Translate today. Because I don't want to... I don't want to make a new subscription live on stream. Probably not a good idea. Did you mean that you? Yeah, forvirre it means confuse, literally. Danish, of course. Did you mean that you discombobulated me? You confused me with what you were writing, or am I being confusing? Or is there any reason why you wrote discombobulated in the chat? Your head is inundated. Ugh, I know that word as well, but once again, I don't know what it means. I don't remember what it means. Ah, you are discombobulated. Okay, yes. Like that. See? Now it makes sense. And now the way I thought what you might have meant also made sense, because I am discombobulated today. Yes. Things are feeling... I'm a little confused today. Things are weird. It's been a weird day. Slowly squat it down to reach his weapon. So I think I want her to bite him on his arm. That's always I feel like that's always a good move when kids are fighting adults, that they bite. Like bite really hard. Because I want it to be like, I need the Squire Ronean, the villain here, to bleed, and Vespa to use that blood to feel his spirit somehow. Flaystone says, do you translate English words into Danish? That's so cool. I understand English better than my own native language, so it's usually opposite, where I translate things into English. Yeah, usually it does. I do. Like, I know English perfectly well. I hope it somewhat shows as I'm writing. I can read and speak it professionally, no problem. Sometimes I even do, like you say, like, I even do know the English word and don't remember the Danish word. But for the most part, I do translate things to Danish just because it gives me a better understanding overall. As well, like my Game of Thrones books, A Song of Ice and Fire, they're actually all in Danish, which I'm fine with. It does give me a better understanding of what is being written, even though I know English perfectly well. Bleeding after squatting. Well, you know, it's not bleeding from the squatting. It's gonna be bleeding because she bites him. But if you like the translating stuff into Danish, just you wait, Flame, until the live streams, where I will be doing that with this entire book myself, as I use it as a revision tool, actually, and making my English text better as well. To reach his weapon, slowly squat down to reach his weapon. Vespa could feel the Squire's hold on her Loosening. Loosening just a bit. Hey, well, will you look at that? It is the end of page 227, and we go on to page 228. Whoop, whoop. Let's go. 228. Yeah, good. Bleeding after squatting is a proper medical complication. Oh, you don't say. Doesn't matter where said bleeding comes from. Okay, you'll stop. It's a good thing that you caught yourself in the act and decided to stop that line. So of comments. I'm proud of you, Flakes family. It takes some real insight to see that. Loosening just a bit. And it didn't take long. It didn't take long. For her. Didn't take long for her to what? Flame, I'm not even gonna comment. I'm not even, no. Whoops. I'm not even, no. Just, we're stopping it there. And it didn't take long for her to decide her next move. Hey, it's 20! Saying hi, buddy. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the chat, 20. I hope you're doing well on this Monday. I hope your own live stream went well yesterday. Good to have you here. Didn't take long for her to decide the next move. She had to get Lemon up from the floor as fast as possible. Whoops. And try to make their escape. Flays. I think it's a good idea, Flays. 20 says, I am, and it was good. Thanks. The puzzles keep kicking my ass, though. Oh, that's the worst thing when you're doing puzzles on live stream. It can be so terrible because you think yourself like you can't, like you're thinking that it feels incredibly, what's it called, boring to the viewer watching, as you don't make any progress. It's horrible. But yeah, how's the writing going? It's going pretty well. I'm in the final stretches, I would say, of my book. Vespa, the main character, has just met or realized who the real villain is of the book. And her pet, her companion, a little yellow bird named Lemon, has taken a slash by a knife and is laying on, bleeding on the floor, as this villain character, Squire Ronean, is, well, he's basically about to torture the main character. So that's kind of where we are, so it's going great. 20 says, I just feel stupid, lol. Like, I'm sure they figured out way before I do. Honestly, but that's also, as a viewer, that's also part of the charm. You just need to know that. once I had on my gaming channel, I did these Let's Play interviews where I had the developer around and we played the games as we talked about them. And one of the games was a puzzle game like Portal. And it is one of the hardest things I have ever tried. To have an interview going on, asking questions about the game while I have to do the puzzling of the game. It was terrible. They were really nice about it, and they held my hand a couple of times, of course, and it was very fun, great videos, but it was so mentally draining. You better not kill the bird. You might not want to be here for the next part. No, she's... let's have that in my chapter overview. So right now she's in here. This Squire has attacked Vespa and Lemon. They try to get away. It's all part of the plan. Don't worry. That leads into chapter 17, where they get caught again, and he throws them into a catacomb thingy. And down here, this is where Vespa, she met her mentor, which was like a spirit ghost thing. And down there, Lemon dies. Vespa uses spirit magic to help to try and get him back. At which point she dies as well, and they wake up in the realm of death. And in that act, she bonds her spirit to Lemon, and they get back to the world of the living. So there is a like they die, but it's a good thing. Like, they are coming back. Don't worry. Sounds incredibly cool. Oh, thank you. I think so too. I think this is one of the better parts of my story that I'm really, really happy with. I just gotta get there. And I am a little bit away from it. But yes, I too think that this is an incredibly cool book, an incredibly cool story. How disappointing. I thought the bird was going... Well, like I said, Flaze Flame, the bird is going to die. And then get back. And if you still think that's disappointing, I might have to ban you. Sorry. It's just a way of things. Okay. So, whoa, shoot. Oh, that's crazy bad. So, while Squire Ronean's attention, attention, was elsewhere. Vespa pulled back the chainmail sleeve on his arm. And without second thought, chomped. I don't know if it should be chomped. Maybe it should just be bit. I kind of like chomp though. Flayslim says, I was about to compliment you for being so ruthless. You know, ruthless is fine, but not when it's animals that are on the receiving end. No. You can kill trillions of people in your story, Flayslim, and I won't bat an eye. But if you hurt an animal, no. Besides, I already killed a horse in this. Sad. I know. And it was also the villain, Squire Ronean. Chomp down. Squire Ronean screamed. Screamed with pain. You killed a horse? It was part of the villain's plot. There was nothing I could do. And it was running right towards the main character in an attempt to kill her. So, and it wasn't like it died from poison, from the villain testing out a poison, because he didn't know how powerful it would be. So, you know, I was sad too. It was called Riptide. It was a beautiful stallion. Yeah, it was very sad. You know that orbital bombing is very indiscriminate in what it kills. Animals, humans, your landlord. Well, I guess that's right, place. Tweenie says, sadness, poor Riptide. Yeah, I know, he's a bad dude, this Squire Ronean. And he faked being good throughout the entire book. What a jerk. Squire Ronean screamed with pain. But Vespa just sunk her teeth. Further into his arm. As she had tasted the metallic as metallic taste spread on her tongue. Does that make sense? It's a bit weird. Metallic taste. Well, it's gonna be in here. Taste spread on her tongue. She was sure that the Squire would drop her. With her eyes closed. she suddenly became well aware. Suddenly became well aware of the throbbing wound on her hand. Throbbing wound on her right hand. That's probably a sentence, a last sentence that should be I don't know. It's not very elegant. Let's use that word again. Elegant here, is it? Is it future me? 20 says, guys, spoilers. What was the spoiler here? Besides all the spoilers that I just gave as we looked into my chapter overview sheet. Flame says, because of what you said, I'm gonna make sure to describe animal suffering as well. Thank you. I think I unlocked another layer of brutality to my story. Well, you're welcome. That's weird, but all right. I mean, that's definitely something I think will get people riled up if you do. So that's one way to do it. So he says that he was a bad guy pretending to be good. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. You should have been here for all of my live streams. Then you would have known. So it's not really that much of a spoiler. You can go back. They're all on YouTube. It's just like the entire November. I streamed for like 5 to 8 hours every day. So you know, plenty of time for you to figure that out if you'd like. But that pain soon took a step back. That's also weird. Soon. It does make a whole lot of sense to say took a step back. Became secondary. Let's go with that. Became secondary. As Squire Ronean smacked her. Punched her. Across still got punched her face. Flame says you might become jaded of reading people get incinerated. Now readers can read cats as well getting annihilated, which is actually a very true thing in the drone warfare. Absolutely horrific. That's true. It is one of the horrors. So maybe it is a good thing that I inspired you. You're welcome. Squire Ronean punched her face. Succeeding in getting her to stop. Oops. You little devil. Oops. No comment there. He yelled at her straight into her face. Her dizzy face. Devil is actually it's a race in my universe, and she's going to meet a devil in the realms of death. And for the religion of the teachings of the 5 pillars, devils. Sounds like a mix between David and Devil. Of course, anything goes in fantasy. It's more of a mix of the Danish word djævel and the English correspondent to devil. In an effort to make it sound a little bit more Latin-ish, which is, of course, which has inspired my blessed language of the religion of the teachings of the 5 pillars. So I have this thing going where devils are going to be antagonized by this religion, but they might not actually be bad. They're just like the opponent of an angelic race, and the angelic race is I don't have a name for them yet. But the angelic race is like the ones who brought this religion to humans. Yes, anything goes in fantasy, exactly. Angels? Probably not, but I do thank you for the suggestions. They are supposed to be like two sides of the same coin kind of thing. I'm thinking something along the lines of a seraphim as the race names. Well, humans still call them angels, but they're actually called something else. And seraphim, I believe, might be Hebrew for angel. Something along those lines. I think that might actually be fallen angel, which is kind of cool, but it's a very cool sounding word. It's a word that screams fantasy, I feel like, and we like that. Straight into her dizzy face. Cursing to ease the pain. He only pinned her harder though. Pinned her harder. Against the wall though. Against the wall. Get it right, heretic. Let's not go with only. He pinned her hard against the wall now. As a result, let's go with that. It's better. As a result, speak of the devil. Yes, you are very funny, Face Flame, right now. Very funny. Maybe. The Squire's blue eyes were burning. As Vespa struggled to come to her senses, senses. Burning with madness. Maybe I should simply just end you here right now. Simply just end you here right now. Flame says, I am a master of comedic arts. I'll just let that one stand there on its own. No repercussions. No repercussions. Will ever take away the joy it would be to squeeze the life right out of you, to squeeze the life right out of you, right out of you. Vespa could still barely think. As she felt a hand around It's grip tightening. Instantly making her gasp. Is that the third time? She's basically like she can't breathe. There's first time is when she's learning the healing powers of nature magic, where she finds out about the spirit of the flow of a spirit. Second time is when she's drowning in the bubble, and now she is choking. All right. Flame says, not to sound like a broken record, but manuscripting is the epitome of freedom. I've forsaken it. Now I can see true imprisonment. I'm gonna try to write 8 hours a day, 4 in the day, 4 in the night. You know, I think the discipline is so important. It's a good thing that you're doing that. When you say manuscripting, do you mean first draft? Is that's the epitome of freedom? Because you're doing the revisions now? Because the way I understand it, the manuscript is basically just everything until it gets published. So like the first draft is a manuscript, the second draft is a manuscript, and third, and so on and so forth. For air while she still could. Uh-oh, looks like we're running behind pace. It's alright. We've had a good day yesterday. No rush, no need to stress about pace. Flame says, I want the day to be freedom, editing without much worry. Writing the manuscript is digital. I want the morning to be shaping and sanding, and the night to be polishing. Better doing it simultaneously. You know, it sounds like a good plan, definitely. But you've already... I thought you had already written the entire first draft of your book and you were revising it now. But I guess you haven't. Just check something. Yeah, I'm just digitizing it. Which in a sense is another form of editing, while also having to probably edit it. Yeah, that's the same thing I do. It's a really good way of doing things. It is a lot of work, but it's just also really nice. I found that when you're digitizing, when you're because you're typing everything and not rereading it, like you have a whole new set of eyes on the text, and I think you catch a lot more than you would otherwise, just revising a digital text. Yes. Yes. I think I'll do that. Oops. What? Squire Ronean. Smiled. Playtime says I'm 19 chapters behind and 10 months left before the publishing company closes it at mission in February. Ooh. It's also good to have a deadline, right? Even though I know you're feeling stressed about it. It's ages from now, but in editing terms it's tomorrow. 100%. Yeah, 100%. You know how long it takes. Yeah. And honestly, time just flies by. So I don't think it's ages from now. Time just flies so fast by. I'm rooting for you though. You know that. Whoop whoop. Go Blaze Flame. We grip on Vespa's. Wait, am I almost out of ink here? I think I am. Grip on Vespa's neck. Tightened further. Closing off any Did it die? Oh my god. Where am I? There. Flame says, I'm trying to balance finishing it before February and making it so good that it'll blow every other book out of the water. Make way, fantasy, romance, and smut sci-fi has come to take the crown. As long as it's not my fantasy book, then I'm totally cool with that. Wait, did I not? Oh. These are all my, all the ink cartridges I've used so far, by the way. And apparently, oh, there is one left. These. Good. So that was ink cartridge number 20. If we're going for these, there's 5 in each of these packages. Well, well, well. So impressive. You're writing the whole thing by hand, says Tweeny. Thank you. I don't know if I find it impressive. It's a little tedious, but it's very fun. I especially found that I find writing cursive fun, even though I'm terrible at it. Why does this not work? There we have it. All right. Actually, let's go with. So that was ink cartridge number. We have. Oh wait, 107. That was ink cartridge number 20. Cartridge 20. But yeah, I found that there are so many good reasons to actually write it by hand. I even made a video on that topic. That's on the channel. Whoop whoop. A little shameless plug for my own video. The grip on Vespa necktie closing off any supply of fresh air, any supply of air that might have still been there, that might have still found its way to her lungs. Flaysburn says, it's one of the things I missed about writing my manuscript. Actually using my fountain pen, I wrote an abysmal manuscript that I edited manually again. That's what I'm using as my manuscript. Okay. Wait, so you wrote by hand and then you edited it by hand as well? You didn't edit it as you digitized it? But also the first draft is just like, it's okay to be a bit shit. That's the point of it, I feel like. It's more just to get the story down, and then future you can sit with the editing process. Okay, yeah, okay. How do you edit it manually by hand if you wrote it with fountain pen? And did you just add new pages here and there, or what? Or did you sit with the scissors and glue? I also think have and still should be. I think should probably be changed. No, you don't understand the difference in quality between my first manuscript and my second revised. Ah, okay. But both of them, so you wrote 2 manuscripts by hand. Is that what you're telling me? You didn't just have one manuscript written in hand and then you somehow edited it also in hand. So you actually wrote the entire book twice by hand. I know you mentioned before that it was there was a mountain of difference. It was to try and edit that first on my laptop. I would spend half the time understanding it. Ah, okay. So you wanted to sound impressive the first time around. It is a space opera that you're doing, though. So. She struggled. Her small legs. Kicking freely in the air. Desperate for a target, but never finding one. Desperate for a target, but never finding one. First manuscript says Flame made the story. The second gave it structure. The editing is once again leaps and bounds from the second. That's what the editing is for. And I know that it's a long and tedious process, but it's a good thing you're sticking with it. It's a nice feeling, right? When you can look back and see, wow, I improved so much with this. And just never finding one. With her gauntlet wearing hand. Gauntlet. Wearing hand. Gauntlet wearing hand still locked. In place. In place. By Squire Ronean. Squire Ronean and the that he was pinning her against the wall with. He was pinning her against the wall with Vespa's wounded other hand. Do we have another word for desperate, by the way? Desperate. Hopelessly? Yeah. It's not too bad. Flame says, when I read my finished edited chapters, I feel like I'm reading something I would actually buy. And that's with my immense perfectionism and can stand undermining of my writing as a result of jaded. When I finish the slog of the chapter, I go back for one last pass where I make things smoother, flow better, but after that it's gorgeous to look at. It really is a labor of love. They said if you write a book, you've done more than most. But if you edited the book, you have once again gone into a smaller fraction of people. Yeah, first of all, that's awesome. I think that you have the sense, the feeling that this is actually something you would want to buy yourself and read yourself. That is just well done there. But yeah, I read somewhere, I heard it from, I think it was Cody the Writers, another authortube, another YouTuber, one of his videos where he talked about it's only like 3 to 4% of all people who actually finishes the first draft of the book that they set out to do. And that's the first draft. That's 96% of all people who set out to start a book, to write a book, that never finishes. So yeah, but having edited a book, you're bound to be an even smaller fraction of that. That's kind of cool. It's very cool. It's quite awesome actually to think about. I haven't finished it yet, of course, but I do feel like I am going to write this to the end, all the way to the end. That is definitely the intention. Vespa's wounded other hand. Hopelessly attempted to grab a hold of something. This is a goddamn long sentence. Anything that could somehow make the mad squire let go. Flasim says, I have a pretty strong willpower. Hell, I beat getting over through pure anger and wanting to be validated for the hours I spent on it. Getting over it, one of my life's greatest achievements. I have the willpower, just need to improve my discipline. You have any ideas? I'm open to them at this point. What has really worked for me in regards to discipline is gamifying it. So I set up a habit tracker that where I say that I have to spend at least 15 minutes every day. It mostly turns into way more, but at least 15 minutes every day to write. And that means that I get a streak that I want to keep going, and that makes me motivated. As you see, I have 82 days of the streak going currently. 100% since I started. That works really, really well for me. So that's probably the best advice I can give. Try to gamify yourself. Get a habit tracker, track it down. That's impressive. Thank you. It is like, I did set out to, like, the reason it's 15 minutes is because that was something that's something I can always do. I can always do at least 15 minutes. And a lot of days when I'm not feeling well or just too tired after job or something after work, I only spend the 15 minutes. So, you know, it's not that impressive. But I am proud of it. I'm really proud of having kept the streak alive. That's something you can try. But she only managed to get her hand in between his arm and her chest. Squire Ronean. Squire Ronean's chainmail was wet and slippery. Vespa wasn't sure. If it was because of the cut in her own palm, that's an F. It looks terrible is what it does. Or if... Okay, I need to make better Fs. This is such a terrible... Every time I make an F, it looks almost like I'm writing an E. That ain't good. It was blood from the bite she inflicted. Not that it really mattered. She seemed unable to get Squire Ronean away from her. And her vision started to become blurry. To become blurry. As she gasped for even the slightest of air, the slightest of air. Slightest. Being denied her. Place Flame says, oh, you said many things. I feel like I take so long to edit because I want each sentence to have a meaning, certain purpose, not too long and grand. Anybody write grand? It's harder to make something grand and short. Feels like I'm doing poetry for each bloody sentence. The thing is, I'm trying to shorten entire boxes of paragraphs into instead of smaller boxes of paragraph and subtext. The gauntlet wearing hand. Yeah, I guess we could say gauntlet hand. When did I write that? Ah, there. Needed. It's interesting because that's one of the things that I started watching Brandon Sanderson's writing chapters, writing lectures, and then making highlight videos on my channel. He talks about that in the first lecture actually. Well, he more specifically talks about that revision is a skill everyone needs to learn, but it's also something that can actually kill a book because people tend to become perfectionistic about it, which in itself isn't good because sure, it's great to have the perfect book, but the perfect book rarely comes from just your own eyes. That's why you have editors and beta readers and people to help you. So it is actually something you could work on. Try to say this is good enough, and then once the book is finished, you can have beta readers give their inputs on it. And hopefully when you submit it for the publisher, they can have editors look at it. But I can relate to that 100%. I spend a long time revising my stuff as well. Even after translating, for example, my short stories, write them in English, go through it a couple of times, revising it, translating it to Danish, revising the English text alongside the Danish text, going through the Danish text a couple of times, and finish up with a run through each of them before I feel like it's ready. And I feel like some of those revisions could probably, when I look back at it, could probably be cut out. Because I also think it's very important to actually feel like you're getting something done. And you're not just stuck, feeling stuck. I feel like I kind of had that good enough thought in my second editing. The fact that I'm editing this again has made me want to finally make this great. Not perfect, but great. Well, that's good. Yeah. And also, you know what works best for you. You know how you want to work. You know. That's also one of the things he talks about. Know which advice to take and which advice to ignore, because you're the only one who knows what works for you. Then right there in the middle of her struggles, Vespa felt something. That's a full stop. Flasim says, I'm watching another author, and he has very massive emphasis on author's voice. He's an interesting guy. Let me get his channel name. Oh yeah, I would love to have some recommendations for that. He's actually very good. If he streamed, not when I would literally sleep, I would watch him more. He also live streams. Oh, cool. And he's a published author? Nice. The right mindset. Ah, the right mindset. Nice, nice. I already like that from the title. YouTube. Yeah, the right mindset. Nice. I'm gonna subscribe to him. Yoink. Yeah, he's published a few books. Cool. "27 chapter outline. Write a book with me." Oh. I, of course, have my own live stream that we're doing. So, should probably not check out his channel right now. But thanks for that recommendation. I have so many. I'm gathering so many recommendations from you guys. It's awesome. I have so much to watch, and then I just end up watching gameplay of some of the usual suspects. something strong. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. But, and that was page 228. Whoop whoop, new page hype. 229. Would you look at that? Plays him, he's more of a fantasy author, so you'll definitely have an easier time stealing his knowledge for yourself. Cool, very cool. I like stealing stuff. I mean, getting inspired. But it still felt familiar to her. She tried to rack her brain. Rack one's brain. Yeah, that's definitely not the right translation, but I think, isn't that what it's called? To think very hard, yeah. She tried to, that's not with a W. She tried to rack her brain. As she struggled. It seemed like the only thing she could do. It seemed like the only thing she could do. Flame says he came into mind because you kept talking about Brandon. You keep talking about Brandon Sanderson. That man's books are huge. How many food scenes is he putting in there? George R. R. Martin could learn a few things. So are you saying that Brandon Sanderson has a lot of food scenes? Or are you making a joke about it? Because I've almost finished Mistborn now. First Brandon Sanderson book I've read. And I read all the Song of Ice and Fire books. And if there's one thing George R. R. Martin likes, it's food scenes. Describing the food on the table and what they eat. And it gets tedious. And there's like none of that in Mistborn. Even though it is quite a chunker. Hey, it's Cody, the writer here. Hello, I am at work, so no writing for me. Just popping in to wish you well. Oh, thank you, Cody. It's so good to have you here. So sad you have to work and you can't stay, but thank you so much for joining. I hope you're doing well as well. Flasim says, did I guess right? I'm not sure I quite follow you right now, Flace. Her battle seemingly only going away that she did not want. She did not want. That is putting it mildly. That's weird. Weird, isn't it? Weird. Isn't it? She's dying. PlayStation says it makes more sense in a connected train of thought. He came into mind because you kept talking about Brandon Sanderson. That man's books are huge. How many food scenes is he putting in there? George R. R. Martin could learn a few things. I don't know. I don't know if I would say it makes more sense. It does sound a bit like a sarcastic thought, though. Squire Ronean was not letting up. Vespa looked into his eyes. Looked into his mad eyes. Down to his mad smile. The two combined. I'm not so sure what I'm writing right now. Right now it just feels like I'm writing something just to write it down. Oh, okay. It says, what is Brandon feeding these books literally to make them so big? Okay. Okay, that whooshed me. But I don't know what he's feeding them. Mistborn is very good though, I gotta say. Very, very good. Sort of weird that I managed to avoid it for 20 years or something. Unintentionally, by the way. I just never got around to it. Two combined made Vespa feel as though she looked straight into his true self, his soul. The fake and friendly Squire Ronean was completely washed away. Completely. It also ties into the joke while having a proper meaning. Sure, if you say so. That was when it hit her. Okay. YouTube didn't send one of my messages. I'm too tired to be doing this. Okay. That makes a lot more sense if one of the messages wasn't sent, because I was just like, I know I am a bit discombobulated today, as you so elegantly wrote. But that was just, I was so confused. My sense of humor has gone. It is gone with one sentence. Or one message was all it took for your humor to be dismantled. What she felt was what Raina had called the flow of, oh my god, it looks terrible. A flow of a spirit. The spirit. Except this time it wasn't her own. At least she was pretty sure. She didn't feel the same strain. Didn't feel a strain. The same way. She had that time in the catacombs, that time. The catacombs. Flame says, so what is he actually writing in these books? Any specific thing that makes it close to 1,000 pages? Is the pacing decent? The pacing is very good. It's Mistborn in particular, at least, is divided up into 4 parts. So each part is sort of a little book on its own. And in the same way, it has a tension curve throughout. And you know, the tension rises throughout them. But yeah, it's actually, there's a lot more downtime where the main character is training or discovering her powers than what I would have thought in just for one book. But that's probably also because it's a self-contained story, I believe, even though there are 5 or 6 Mistborn books. The first one, at least, should be a self-contained story. But yeah, each of these parts ends with a big action sequence. It's really good. It's very, very good. It's like, I think what struck me the most. So I just watched his lecture on plot, progress, and payoff, where he also talks about the trinity of book writing, of fantasy writing, sci-fi writing, and that is plot, character, and setting, where the plots and the character are actually way, way, way more important than the setting. A cool setting with bad plot or bad character is not worth of a read, but a bad setting with a good plot and character is intriguing. And I don't particularly care for the setting of Mistborn very much, but the characters and the plot is just very, very, very good. So I just I don't remember the last time I've read 700 pages as fast as I have. It's taken like a little over 2 weeks for me now. And I'm a slow reader. That reminds me of how Avatar: The Last Airbender was made. 4 volumes, downtime, lots of world building. Yeah, but there's so much world building. I guess there is world building in this as well. But it's mostly the main character discovering what she can do and how her role changes in the world, which in itself is really cool. But yeah, I guess you could say it is a little bit like the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Also in the fact that Aang in that has to learn the different things. Yeah, I guess you could say that actually. But it's not like there is one part for this particular magic, then another part for this magic, and a third part for this magic. It's much more fluent. And of course, it's a heist novel. It's a heist story, which is just interesting in a fantasy setting. Avatar is my basis for a good way to show the world and characters, not just one. I think I watched 2 seasons of Avatar, and it was good. I don't know why I didn't watch it all the way to the end. Should probably get around to that at some point. But I can definitely recommend. I haven't read Mistborn to the end yet, but I can definitely already recommend it. And her body. And heat hadn't left her body. And heat, here we can. Heat hadn't left her body. If anything, she felt more heated. Still trying to get out of Squire Ronean's strong grip. Squire. Strong hold and grasp. Clayton says it's why I love world building logistics, lol. Making an intersolar train logistics has got to be one of the most fun things I've written in a train system that transports huge amounts of stuff. Huge spaceships connected, tied to a rail, and the rail allows it, despite being so massive, to go extremely fast from planet to planet. It's actually really important. If it gets disconnected, an entire quadrant is just gone. That's a fun concept, having trains in space. Like literal rails. Well, I guess you said rails in quotation marks, so not literal rails, but it's definitely a different take, because normally you have space travel, you have like the spice from Dune, which is fuel, right? Technology. You have hyperspace from Star Wars. The rails are more like guides, okay. But still, it's a cool. I think that's a cool concept. It sounds like a cool concept. And yet, time was running out. Was rapidly running out. And that yet the feeling was something she couldn't let go of. There are freighters. Freighters. But do you expect a ship to supply an entire planet with trillions of people? Countries, sure, but ships have a limit. Either make trains or bigger freighters. It's the difference of nations too. The democracy, it has the rails, meaning if you can't take them out, they can just keep holding a position through pure brute force logistics, while the autocracy has bigger freighters, making it more dynamic but very slow. Okay. Also, it's quite large planets if you have trillions of people on them. It's like 100, 120 Earths the size. More maybe, trillions. So like 200-300 Earths. If we have 8 billion people. That's some big ass planet. She felt it in her painfully throbbing hand. Still on Squire Ronean's arm. The flow came from him. It did. She could feel it coming through the bite wound she inflicted. The bite wound. She inflicted some of it exiting his body, while most flowed back in, just like the branches flow. Had done. Where she broke it from the bushes. Broke it off. From the bush that time. Oh, you wrote a lot there. Either huge cities, basically, or very expansive planets. The planets are dynamic. Some planets have expansive cities, where I bet they have, where residential is just one story and still have tens of trillions, just by being so huge and open. While others are smaller and are forced to build higher, leaving canopies of cities in concrete. I'm imagining a planet covered in a layer of light and concrete. So a bit like Coruscant in Star Wars. But these are capital planets like cities. There are other planets less populated than towns, so the entire country isn't concentrated on one planet. It's spread out billions for every less developed planet. Alright. Damn. Anyway, see you, streamer. I'm beginning to fall asleep. I'm sorry for ruining your fantasy concentration by bombarding it with how cool sci-fi is, lol. Don't be sorry for chatting. It is always great to have you in the chat and have someone to talk to while I write. And you know, George R. R. Martin says that sci-fi and fantasy are two sides of the same coin. It's just one of them uses technology to explain things, the other uses magic. But they're in principle the same. So you can go to sleep thinking about that if you want. Thanks for dropping by, Flace. What? I wanted to so now we have the comparison to the branches flow. I want Vespa to sort of realize, boom, what? Maybe she can control it the same way. It's worth a try. Could she Rena had warned her of the dangers that using spirit magic, using the spirit would cause using the spirit would cause. But oh no, that was specifically about using her own spirit. Her own. Actually, let's have that as cursive. Her own. Wasn't it? If she could only something. Maybe she could. Maybe she could. Do something. With Squire Ronean's. Like she had done. Something anything like she had done with the branch that time. It was worth a shot. Actually, it's worth a shot. She thought. Her lungs slowly beginning to eat at her. Her lungs slowly beginning to eat at her. As the Squire only tightened his grip. His grip even more. Even more. Much to her surprise, her own surprise, Vespa found herself in her imaginative woods, at once, without any effort. She was standing right in a river of strong flow, just like last time. Hey, SDACMG Lorax, welcome to the stream. Says hi, I'm new to your channel. Well, it's so good to have you. That's a wild username. Do you mind if I just call you Lorax? It seems easier to say than SDACMG. But so good to have you here. Right in the river of strong flow, just like last time. The difference, however, was see something. All right. The difference, however, was that this flow didn't feel overwhelming. In fact, it felt more like how she remembered. In fact, it felt more like she remembered the branch feeling. Than her own spirit back then. Well, we're closing in. We're closing in on 2 pages of the day of today. We are a little bit behind schedule, behind pace, but it's all right. And yet she could feel this here flow move beyond her forest to in two directions. Splitting in two directions. Splitting. Vespa couldn't explain it. Couldn't explain it. But she instinctively knew that it was headed for the two wounds the bite and knife, the bite on his arm and knife on his hand. That she had inflicted upon Squire Ronean. That's an E. Everyone can see that. How long is this chapter becoming, by the way? I feel like it's much longer. Oh, it's not too bad. Started some on mid-page 2023. We're on page 2029. It's actually not so bad. So reflected upon Squire Ronean. I lost my train of thought there. God dang it. God dang nabbit. Maybe it was because... Maybe... It was... Because... she could feel, as she knew, that this was her final chance. This was her final chance. But Vespa didn't spend any time thinking about what to do. Vespa didn't spend any time thinking oh my god, come on. Thinking about what to do. She immediately imagined herself stretching her arms into the flow, stretching her arms down into the flow. Imagine herself stretching her arms down into the flow. Oh, it's getting late here. Okay, we definitely passed 2 pages now. That's good. Got half an hour left of the live stream, give or take. And tried to stop it. And hands. It did as she commanded. Vespa felt the Squire's grip around her neck loosen. likewise. The pressure from the arm holding her to the wall, from the arm holding her to the wall, loosen a bit. Something. Vespa's lungs. Yay, that was page 229. Means we're going to page 230. New page hype. Whoop whoop. Let's go. 230. Yeah. Took advantage of it once. Something Vespa's lungs took advantage. Advantage. That looks like an R. Of at once. As they swallowed as much air. Swallowed as much air as they possibly could. Was the only sound came from Squire Ronean's lips. When Vespa opened her eyes, she saw a stunned open mouth and a frowned look of confusion. From her aggressor. She closed her eyes again. That says frowned. That's an O. That's an. Once again. Vespa didn't waste any time. Didn't waste any time. Closing her eyes. Eyes shut again. I don't know if closing her eyes shut is needed. Closing her eyes shut again. She imagined herself to be right back in the river. Imagined herself to be right back in the river flow. River of Squire Ronean's flow. She, actually, he was still holding her against the wall. Against the wall. Hey, Miss Blogger, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Of course, you've been here multiple times. I hope you are doing well with your fiction, fantasy, and contemporary paranormal romance. Yeah, I hope things are going well with it. And I hope your Monday is going good as well. A hand still around her neck. She had to get him away. So that she could escape with Lemon. And so she tried the first thing first thing that came to her mind. She pushed with all of her strength, all of her focus and concentration. Vespa directed the flow away from her. With an enormous push, letting out a piercing yell. Piercing yell as not as well, but as backing force. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm using it anyway, for now at least. Makes sense. And it worked. Not only was it as if she could feel Squire Ronean's heart, beat a single time, after which it stopped, for a moment or two. The squire himself wobbled backwards. Letting Vespa drop to the floor. Letting Vespa drop to the stone floor. He was left limply standing. He was left limply? I don't know if that's a word. Word. Limply standing. Staring straight into the wall without saying a word. Staring straight into the wall. Without saying a word. Staring, yeah. Do. Vespa paid. Yeah, that was right. Paid no attention. To the pain. Of hitting the floor. From the height of which she had been held, she had been held against the cold wall. Cold black wall. And only let out a small oof. And only let out a small oof. Together with the clanking of a gauntlet. Together with the clanking of her gauntlet on the stone. Gauntlet on the stones. She had only one thing on her mind. Paid almost no attention. One thing on her mind. Lemon. She ran in between Squire Ronean's legs. And over to her brave companion. Still lying flat on his back. Still lying flat on his back. With wings spread. With wings spread. Okay, that was... This has basically been written in like 15 minutes. I didn't think I would actually hit 3 pages today, but I am going to continue until we hit 3 pages, which is like down here. Maybe even we start the next page. That's actually probably a good thing to do. Okay, this went really well. Nice sprint towards the end. Cheers for that. And I still have 4 minutes of the official time, of the official stream time. But yeah, let's get this page here done, and then probably stop there. Lemon. Vespa. How do you say that? It's not cautiously. Desperately. Desperately said. falling to her knees. Her knees beside him. Lemon. Oh my god, that's supposed to be an E. Lemon. Are you... Please don't be... She could hardly get herself to say the words she so feared. Tears instantly fighting for freedom from her eyes, copper eyes. Fighting for freedom from her copper eyes. As Vespa gently, ever so gently, I actually, can I just say this wild? I think I wrote this in 20 minutes. That's almost an entire page in 20 minutes. What a sprint towards the end this was. Ever so gently slid her hands gauntlet and nut underneath the little yellow thing. He didn't resist. In the slightest. Making Vespa fear the worst. a gentle whistle. More of a slight whisper, more of a slight whisper. Escaped the wounded companion. Oh, thank God. We don't have... Do we have a thank God? Thank the pillars? Common sayings. For heaven's sake, go to hell. For me, God bless you. You could use that one. Haveneum Vidae et Vespa wasn't sure why. She blurted out, a common greeting. When meeting people, or why she did so in the blessed language, or why she did so in the blessed language. Oh, why she did so in the blessed language. But she was simply overwhelmed. Simply overwhelmed. By happiness. Her tears fik frit spil. That's not. And yeah, free veins. That was probably her tears. Free vein. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Free rein. As she gently hugged her friend. Her best friend? You're alive. I was so worried that come on, let's get out of here. We need someone to take a look. That was page 230. We're moving to 231. And let's just have a couple of words before we'll end. Take a look at you. Right. Take a look at you, right. And that will be it for today's live stream, guys. We did manage to do a little over 3 pages. After all, I was skeptical, I must say, but what a sprint towards the end we had there. So, we go here, we go into our word count. We go to day 72. And that is the 72 days I have worked on this, and not just over 2 months. Because we started in November, of course. We have... You can't see that. We have the Master Sword of Counting. And we'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 1, 2 whole pages here, and then we go from the bottom 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that was 3 pages there, which means it's 3 pages, 3 pages, and 4 lines. That's what we're looking for. If I place them there, that's gonna look great. It's gonna look great when I go here. Somewhat great. Like that. That looks good. So we take our formula. We say 3 pages and 4 lines. It's not as much as yesterday, but it is still pretty good. 1,132 words for today, especially when I felt so discombobulated, as Flame mentioned earlier. Let's see. We have reached our goal of 85,000. We are at 85,436 total words, and we will change, extend these as well. We go into this. I go into the studio mode. You can't see that because I need to change up some stuff here. I go into the progress. I update the progress from 82 No. There we go. 85,436 words out of 85,000, which also means that our progress bar, where is it? There it is. It will now be here. And our jewel will now be here, which should indeed be above the goal. It all seemed to be working out. I go like this and like this. And then I say thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for dropping by and for chatting as well. It means everything. If you enjoyed this video, this live stream, or the VOD, please remember to show me on YouTube by liking it. It really means so much to me. And maybe even subscribing if you haven't already. And, you know, find this sort of thing pretty nice. Next live stream, of course, will be Wednesday. Same time. That is 8 p.m. 8 in the evening, Central European summertime. So I'll see you there, I hope. And remember, we write our own stories. All right, bye.